Welcome back to Arc Tutorials. This is Angular 16 step-by-step CRUD tutorial series. This is part 7 of the series. In the last episode, we had written code for this service, which means we had written methods which would do the functionality of retrieving data, posting data, deleting and putting, which is update basically. Today onwards, we will start integrating the service into our components. The first component today that we will integrate is the read all functionality. Let me show you where we are and then we'll cover. As part of this series, I'm trying to cover all the features and functionality of Angular 16, including some of the latest ones, which are signals and much more. So stay tuned for that as we build in this particular series. To show you where we are, I'm going to quickly start the application by serving ngserve. It's compiled. Let's go back to our browser and reload. This is what we have built, which is we have generated the components, we have generated the service, we built a header, a collapsible sidebar, and we have got the pagination and sorting kind of a thing. Okay, so I think we did the sorting now. Okay, we'll add it as we progress, so no worries on that. Perfect. So today we will make this data dynamic by connecting it with the API. All right, let's go ahead and start that code. So first thing, open, if you notice in the source we have a db.json, which was nothing but the JSON data that we expect from the API. We have that already created, and we will just start the server by writing json server watch db.json. This will start the JSON server locally. If you see, it will give the message which says it started. You can go back to the browser and type localhost 3000 and you should see this message, and you can access the endpoint by saying slash credit cards and you would see that data. Okay, now the idea is we should be able to populate this data dynamically into the mat table. Okay, that's what we will do today. Let's get started. I'll open the app, I'll go to credit cards and to the template. Okay, now first let's do the work in the component.ts file. Okay, so I am in credit cards component.ts file here, and this was all the static data that we had put, which we are displaying. So I am going to go ahead and comment it all out. Okay, so all the static data you can comment, or even better, delete. Okay, so now this will give you an error which says table data is undefined. That is correct, because now we are going to work and make that data dynamic. Okay, so let's go ahead, and for that I'm going to start by creating a constructor. Okay, before I do this, one important thing which we did not do in the service in the last episode was, in the modules you will have to import HTTP client module, because if we want to work anything with HTTP, that is APIs, we will need this module. So I'm going to import it in the app module. Okay, so import the HTTP client module and include it in the list of arrays, that is HTTP client module. That's all. Now come back to credit cards component.ts. In this we have the, let's build a constructor and we will import the credit card service that we just built in the last episode and create an instance, and I'm going to make private and make it small c, that way we can distinguish. So I'm building a constructor method. This is where I will write the logic to fetch the data dynamically, and we will write this dot credit card service dot, you see all the methods, and we need all the credit cards, so I'm using the method get credit cards. All right, get credit cards, and we can also subscribe is nothing but this would return an observable. If you hover on it, you see that we are expecting an observable of type credit card array, and that's why we are subscribing, because it's an observable. Now that we have it, we are saying we'll expect data, and the data is of type credit card, and it will be an array of credit cards. So let's this is how we will close it. So now subscribe and we'll get the data and we will do the functionality inside this. What we will do is we will create a new variable credit cards, and I'm going to say they are of type credit card, and I will initialize the value to empty array. Initially the data is empty, but once we make this API call, we will get the data and we will assign that value here. Okay, now there are some more things we need to do. It's not just this. If you see here, it's giving errors. So to fix that, what we will do is inside this we will move this code. So we are going to write this dot data source equal to new table, and this will be this dot credit cards data. Okay, and then it says it's an error, is not assignable. Okay, we'll check on this one. So let's go ahead, comment this off, and we will also comment. Okay, so this we have assigned here. Now we are saying mat table data source. This is fine. Then we are going to bring in the paginator and page source also right inside this, and you can get rid of ng after view init. So now I've commented out that. So I've cleaned up the code. It's much simple. Now let's go ahead and fix this error. Let me delete this comment section also for you. We don't need it anymore. Okay, so much simpler code. All we are doing is getting this data and processing it. So for that, let's check what is the error here. So we are saying this dot data source equal to new mat, and the error it says data source does not exist on credit cards component. Okay, so let's go ahead and define that, or we can leave this particular thing here at the end and say data source equal to new mat table. Okay, this dot credit cards, this should be good. So initially we are, if it would be empty, that we are passing here, but once we have the API call, we are assigning the new value, and that's what will be reflected. Okay, all we are doing is calling this service and a method binding the data. That's all we have done. Let's go ahead, check in our application. So now you see this is all dynamic data that we are getting 33333. How do I know that? Because it's all static data. You can see here 3. Now I'm going to fix the data in the db.json and make it 1 2 30. So just so we see the value differently. So now you see 1 2 and 30. That's what I just changed. So now it is reflecting the correct data that we want to display. Chase Bank, and reflect it, and it shows Chase Bank, right? That means the data is binded correctly. What did we do? We are calling this service and we are subscribing to the data which is of a certain type. In our case it is of type credit card, and then we are just assigning this data, initializing this dot data source with new data that we get for mat using mat table data source. If this is failing, it would come down to default to nothing because initial value is empty array. Alright, that's all we have done. We have replaced the hard-coded value. Now it's all coming from the API. You can also inspect, go to network tab, refresh, and you will see a call going to, you can see here the call went to localhost 3000 credit cards and you got the response. That's what is being displayed here. Okay, so this is the first API that we have integrated. Other components we will integrate. Let me quickly fix up the sidebar also for you. If you see the app component, we have this. I am going to generate a new component, ng generate C, and we are going to generate a component, let's say sidebar, and you can see we got the sidebar here. And inside this, let's I'm going to add it here and say app sidebar, and let's start the application again, ngserve. Let's give it a second. Okay, it's compiled. So now you see sidebar works is coming. Inside the sidebar, I want to make a beautiful list which would capture the data. Okay, so what we can do, we can use mat nav list. It's just a ULLI kind of a thing, but the only difference is this will be a clickable item. Okay, so I'm saying mat list item, and you can give a href value, and let's say dashboard. Copy this link multiple times, and now here I'm going to say add new credit card. Here I'm going to say search credit cards. Here I'm going to say um, edit, or we'll keep adding that functionality. Let's say advanced search. As we progress, I'll try and add those things for you. So it says mat nav list is not a known element, right? So we need to add that module, import mat nav, right? Let's go check what is the, go to components. So again, you don't have to remember all of this. It's already available under list. We can go, where is the list here? So you can check the examples and you can see the code. The API is mat list module. Okay, and let's bring it in. I can tell you that even the most experienced folks will not be able to remember all the things that are available. So we all should know how to read the documentation. That's also extremely important part of as a Angular developer. So now you see we got the nav list, we got the dashboard, add new credit card, search, advanced search. So now we are able to put this also. The sidebar is also ready along with toggle functionality. Now let's take a moment to quickly fix this also. So let's go to the credit cards component, and this is what I have. I'm going to wrap all of this into a mat card instead of a div, so that way it would be aligned perfectly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is class equal to mat card. So now you see they are aligned correctly, or I can just use it on the div. That's also fine. Mat card, and I can get rid of this extra, like the borders I don't want. So now you see these are aligned correctly. Okay, so we fixed the alignment, we fixed the sidebar, now it has links. We fixed the view all, which is dynamically now coming from the API. Okay, that is the step. Now you can also make these colors, tiles, different colors. You can say BG success, BG warning, info, and in the CSS we can add that style and say background color light green, BG warning, background color light orange, or let's use coral, and for BG info background color light blue. Okay, so see the colors are also in place, right? Now last one, let's give that also BG. I'm going to give primary. Okay, and let's just BG. So these are the class names I'm giving, and you can give any uh, any color that you would like to give. So now I have four cards that are there. They have beautiful color. I have my hover clickable sidebar. My menu is collapsing. I have the pagination in place. So this needs to be checked because we changed the data. So that's what needs to be fixed. Let's go back, and here you can add that again actually. You know, you can retain this value after this. Okay, so now it will say this dot token unexpected token is undefined. Okay, we'll fix that later in next episode. So every episode I will add some functionality and build this entire application. Today we fixed on making it this dynamic. We fixed the tiles. We added this sidebar. In the next episode I will make view functionality, which is to view a certain specific data using API. Like when I click on this link, it should go and open up that particular details. I hope you are enjoying. Do write to me if you have any doubts, or if you get stuck in the code. I'll be more than happy to help you. All right. Do let me know how you are progressing. I'm very eager to hear from you all. Thank you so much for joining. See you in the next episode. Thank you.